Boom. All right, this time I think I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna try to stay on the same tab this time. I'm gonna do the same thing, adding the fifth now, but I think I'm just gonna go straight through. See if I can go straight through, like all of the nodal points. So I'm gonna start on my most familiar set of notes, collection notes around the key of C, nodal point 5, meaning the G, which happens to be a mixolydian in that collection of notes. And then instead of going to different tabs, I'll use the worksheet. So if you have the worksheet, which is in the description, then you can change it as we go. It's a little kind of a pain because it goes, wait a sec, I hid cells. Maybe that's not as easy to do as I had previously thought. Did I hide it? No, I didn't. It should be, yeah, it's right over here. So I can go over here and I'll just change, and I'll change the worksheet over here, and then I'll come back on over. So if you have the worksheet, which I think it's in the description if Nika put it in there, then you could do the same thing, and then I go back down to this collection down here, was it? Donde. It's like, no, I lost it. That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea to do. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh no, the whole thing is broken. Oh man, now I'm really messed up. Really messed up this time. Oh no, here it is. Okay, then I'll just go back here. Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, so that's what I'll do. And so then I'll try to go, as we do the fifth, I'll change that, and so we can see all the shapes from the perspective of that node, so that I can maneuver through all nodal points, and then try to know what shape will be around it, and then intervals, chord construction, and all that. So again, I don't think there's any better way to do that than an Excel worksheet that you can change like this. We have it in the description for free, so people should be giving me like donations or something. I feel like, because it's the best thing to use. I don't know. And maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just a crazy. Am I crazy? Possibly. But yeah, Excel spreadsheet. No one uses it. What the heck is wrong with people? What the heck? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna try to warm up on what was I gonna warm up with? I was gonna do I was gonna warm up. I was doing the stretchy stuff last. Oh yeah, I was gonna try to warm up with an anchor finger other than my pointer, because I was doing last time pointer finger anchor, reach as far as I can. But now I'm going to say, well, what if I anchor, you know, one of my other fingers, right? So if I anchor like my if I'm noodling around and I anchor there with my ring finger on the Phrygian, then that frees up my pinky so I can go underneath it. I know that sounds ugly, it's because I'm not good at it yet, because I haven't done it for a while. Now if I could use my other finger as a double stop pick, which I was doing before, and then I have above it, I can put this finger above it, and I can walk it back here. I can grab this one still in the shape with my pinky. And then what if I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to try to grab it with my the pinching half finger style. What do they call that? I don't know. I'm not good at that, so I need practice. Practice session. Name of this thing. Try it on the A string. So now I'll anchor on the A string, and then I'll walk underneath it with my pinky, starting with my pinky. Try the pinch. Try to pinch down here, skipping a string. So now I'm just pinching down here. Boop, boop, boop. So strokes, alternate picking. Pinching, upstrokes. Go up to this node, same thing. I'm going to put my ring finger here and see pinky below it. Alternate picking. Can probably reach back to there. Downstrokes. Pinching. Alternate picking. Putting my third finger down on the G. So So now I'm going to reach down, see if I can do pinching down here. Pinch. See if I can alternate pick and skip the one in the middle. Not really alternate picking, downstroke, skipping the one in the middle. Okay, my hand hurts a little bit. What if I try this one with my pinky? So I'll put my pinky down here. What can I do with that? I'm anchoring the pinky. So now it's like, okay, I could go above it, pinky above. But I can reach all the way back to here. Pinching. Downstrokes. Upstrokes. Okay, let's try to pinch to the one. So could I go below it here? So if I go below it, I can't grab the one right underneath it. But if I put my pinky here, I might be able to go further out below it, which I don't do too often. So I could, if I pinky that one, I could go, okay. I have this one. As I grab that, I can end it with this tensiony sound. Or if I pinch, downstrokes, upstrokes, Alright, let's try a joke and then I'll get into it. So let's see. See what we got. Joke practice. It's just another stupid joke for the most part. Nothing too offensive, although there might be slight swearing, depending on how you categorize swearing. I don't know. I don't know what swearing is these days. The whole collection of words you can and cannot say has changed completely. The whole collection of those words you could not say while I was growing up are now mundane, and then you got a whole new group of words, and you're like, "What the heck? I don't even know what that means. What the heck is going on around here?" Anyway. What happens when cops start driving Teslas? They start driving Teslas like electric police cars. I'm sorry, that doesn't feel right to me, to my spirit. Not that I have anything against the Teslas. You know, I don't have anything against them, but still, it just seems a little bit kind of weird if you get the cops to start to drive it. That's not intimidating. That's what my, okay, hold on a second. Now, dang it. Something went wrong with my, okay, whatever. My slides might be off. Like theologically speaking, can you be a, see your, oh, I forgot my script is messed up. Dang it! Let me try to fix it. Hold on a second. I have this, I need to touch this up just a second. I don't know what happened here. It's my editing team. My editing team messed up the script. Line 2 is wrong. I will fix it. You think I'm just going to read it like an idiot, like I'm, what's his name from the, that just reads the script no matter what, even though it's clearly wrong. No. I'm gonna fix it. Okay. I don't go off. I use a teleprompter, but I know I know when it's totally stupid. Okay. Okay, let's try it again. What happens when the cops start driving Teslas like electric police cars? I'm sorry, that doesn't feel right to my spirit. Being a cop always sounded cool is because you're a badass. But being a badass kind of implies gas, does it not? Right? I mean, like theoretically speaking, can you be a badass without gas? You know? I mean, think about it. It's like, because gas defines the badass. The roar, the rumble, the brum. That's the audio version of flexing your biceps. Being a badass without gas is like being an exhaust pipe with no exhaust. You know? I mean, it's kind of like it's like a dragon that only exhales cold air conditioning. There's no threat, just vibes at that point. It's not really. I mean, imagine the police chasing you, but instead of that intimidating vroom, you just hear like a Roomba just woke up angry, you know? How am I supposed to pull over for a car that sounds like a meditation video? This is the police. Inhale, exhale, pull over when you're ready. You know, that's not how it really works. That's how that's how like the lefty people think it works. You just have a therapy person in the cop car, but you need some kind of like intimidation thing typically for a lot of people. Not me, I'll pull over nicely generally, but still I'm not the like if there's no gas, we need a new terms besides badass, because honestly I always felt like the ass was only bad because of the gas, you know? No gas, no bad. So maybe the new term should be silent but deadly ass. Silent but deadly ass. SBDA. Sounds like a government agency. And it's more threatening than it sounds at first. They're like, you better not run or the cops will reduce your carbon footprint permanently. Right? That's pretty intimidating right there. Old school cops are like, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? But the electric cops are like, bad boys, silent but deadly too. Because if the car doesn't make a noise, the officer has to. The cop's gonna have to yell at you or something. You know, somewhere there's like a cop in the Tesla in a Tesla going, hit the sirens. And the Tesla makes a tiny little do doorbell sound, you know? That's not intimidating. That's what my fridge does when I leave it open for too long. So I don't know. I'm not really against the Teslas being used for cop cars. I just feel like you're going to need some modifications. We're going to have to adjust some terminology. And so it's going to be a little bit more work than we might think at first. So let me see. I wrote a song about it. I put it into Suno. Let's see what Suno's got.
What happens when cops start driving Tesla? Electric cruisers rolling up the street. Man, something in my spirit feels offended. Badass energy shouldn't sound this sweet. Being a cop was always kinda metal. A vibe of danger, power class. But tell me now in all sincerity, can you be a badass without the gas? Gas defines a legend, the roar, the rumble, the blast. That bram is basically audio flexing its horsepower, doing curves real fast. But now it's all like a Roomba waking up mad. How am I supposed to pull over for that? Chase scene sounding like spa day jazz. No gas, no bad. We need a new title class. Introducing
vibe on that one. Okay, Suno. Still think it's just kind of reading my script, but not bad, I guess. Little weird. I was like not really liking it, but then it's pretty good for. It was good for my drumming. I felt like it was fun to drum to, even though I probably wouldn't listen to it otherwise. So that's good. I'm gonna get a different pick, test my tuner, and then we'll get into the something's off on that. Okay, whatever. Good enough. Good enough. A badass without gas. Come on. Oh, all right. That's not funny. Let's see what we have here. All right. Okay. Let me try to copy this over so I don't mess up. If I fail, then I can still go back to the last one. Okay. So let's see if I can do this. So I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C, but I'm looking at the Mixolydian. So I would still define it by the collection of notes around the key of C, nodal point of focus, Mixolydian, and we know the key of C, top string C, is right here on coordinate system 8, and then the first string from the ceiling. That's how I'm going to define the strings. First string down from the ceiling, back to coordinate 5, fret 5, and first string down from the ceiling, which is nodal point 6. So that's going to be, we can call it the Aeolian shape, you might call it that, or you might call it the Ionian G shape, or you might call it just shape number 1. Goes from 6 to 6, that's why it's Aeolian if you start on this top thing on the string. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to renumber it. Why? Because that's stupid to do that, is the technical reason, and we should stop doing it if you really want it, because it would be a lot easier to learn the fretboard if you stop renumbering every time you go to a different node. That's the point. That's the point, okay? Or one of them. I have lots of points. I have lots of good points, but that's one of the points. So don't watch your fingers. Watch your fingers. Make sure to use safety precautions because I have a lot of points here. I don't want anyone to get injured. Okay. So then we're going to go so we're going to be on nodal point 5, which is the G, which is going to be the Mixolydian. Okay, so then so we found the third last time. I'm going to define this quadrant as the reach forward quadrant up to the right by the third. That's where the third is. So we're in the reach forward quadrant from that nodal point number 5. I note that nodal point number 5 from the house, Ionian's house, is on the ground floor to the right of the house, and it's underneath the house, under the basement to the left of the box. That's how I define it. So that means that nodal point 5 is in between shape number 1 and shape number 5, right? Or from this standpoint, it would be the Ionian A shape from the cage standpoint, and the Ionian G shape, the Mixolydian, is right between there on the third string down from the ceiling. Okay, so what if I want to find the fifth from that Mixolydian? 5 minus 1 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, because it goes around the circle. So I'm looking for the Dorian. Dorian, Dorian is right above it. So nodal point number 2. That means that nodal point number 2 is always first modal whole step, second modal half step, times 2 second modal half step plus 1 third scale degree away from the Mixolydian. Always and forever, which is nice. On all 12 collections of notes, you can apply this rule if you stop renumbering the whole frickin' thing every time you put your finger on a different spot. I mean, what in the... oh, God. Okay. I can't even, man. I can't even. Okay. So we're going to say that's going to be... so what's the distance to get to it? Well, it's going to be 7 notes away because... I'm sorry. Wait a sec. I'm on the 5th. It's the second modal whole step, which is the 4th modal half step, which is the 5th scale degree. So the Dorian, node point 2, is always the second modal whole step times 2 4th modal half step plus 1 5th scale degree away from the Mixolydian nodal point 5. How far is that directionally in terms of total distance? Or absolute distance or note distance? It would be 7, but that would be clockwise because you go 7 from any node and you get your 5th going 7, but that would be clockwise, and we're going counterclockwise because we're going above it. So it would be 7 clockwise if there's 12 steps around the circle, and we go counterclockwise, it would be 12 minus 7, which is 5. So it'd be like -5, and there's 5 notes between the strings, so there's 5 right above, so it's -5, which would be +7. There it is. Boom, shakalaka. The sense has been made perfectly. That's why we call it perfect sense. Sense has been made perfectly. That's why I call it perfect sense. It even smells good. Sense has been made perfectly, so perfect it even smells good. That's why I call it perfect sense. I'm gonna say, okay. Let's go, let's now imagine that I make this Mixolydian nodal point number 4. Let's just go in order. Well, if I make it nodal point number 4, what's going to happen? So if that G is nodal point number 4, then that means like it's at the bottom of the house. So this whole box is going to be right there. And if the box is on the second and third string from the ceiling and we're leaning forward, meaning it's on the left-hand side of the shape, that would be shape number 5. And if it's on the front of the shape, it would be shape number 4. So that's what should happen. Now the question is, well, I'm going to change my collection of notes based on the 12 collections of 7 notes based on the Ionian. So I have to figure out what the Ionian is. In other words, if I want to change my collection of notes, I need to say what's the related Ionian. If I make that G the Lydian, what's the related Ionian? Well, I could look at it this way. I could say, well, that Lydian, the Ionian is right above it, right? So I could say, like, if this was the Ionian and I'm in the box, then right above it is going to be, if this is the Lydian, then right above it, it's going to be the Ionian. And I could say, okay, that means this is the Ionian, and then I figure out what note that is, and, that's going to be a D. And, the other way I might do it is I say if the G is the Lydian, so if the G was the Lydian, I could count up to the Ionian in modal half steps. So if it's number 4, Lydian, then it would be 5, 6, 7, 1. It would be 4 modal half steps up, which would be a 5th scale degree, which would be 7 notes up. So it would be 7 notes up to get to the Ionian. So I could count that here. I could find that G up top, like the G's on the top string, and then I count 7 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I should get to the Ionian would be up here, and that is a D if I know my numbers on the top string. So a D, if I just number my notes, it's going to be going A is 1, A sharp is 2, B is 3, C is 4, C sharp is 5, and D is 6. So I'm going to say number from a note number standpoint, it's going to be 6. So if I go to my worksheet over here and say, okay, D is 6. I'm just going to change this key to 6, and that should give me an Ionian D, which you can see right here, although it's all zoomed in. So then if I go back here and say, okay, did that work? Now this whole naming convention up top is a mess. This is now a D. I should make a cell reference for that. So that might not always be right. Let's see. What if I said this should equal this. This should equal this. Boom. Okay, D6, note number 6. Okay, that works. Okay, and then I should do it at the bottom too. So, like if I was to, I could try to fix this one. Maybe I don't really want to get that. So I'm not going to do that right now. So the bottom one, or the one on the top of your screen, I'm not going to switch it every time. So bear with me. I'll try to get good at one thing at a time. So we'll just go to the top. So that means, so now I changed it, right? So now that same nodal point, which was a G on fret 5, 3rd string down from the top, fret 5 Lydian. Now, fret 5 nodal point 4. Okay, so that makes sense because now the box is right here. So where am I from a box standpoint, or what shape am I in? Well, I'm now in shape number, if the box is on the 2nd and 3rd strings from the top, I'm in, and I'm leaning forward, it's going to be shape number 5. So I'm in shape number 5, leaning forward. If I'm leaning back, if I'm on the box is on the 2nd and 3rd string from the top, then, and I'm leaning back into my shape, it's going to be shape number 4. So you might call shape number 4 a C shape from a cage system, or a Phrygian shape. If you go from the top note that's in it, it's going to be a Phrygian. And you might want to call shape number 5 an Ionian A shape, or you might call it a from the top a Mixolydian shape if you played it from the top. All right, so that makes sense. So now I'm on. So now if I wanted to subtly change that node from being Mixolydian, and I want to go to Lydian, so then I'm like, oh, now I'm going Lydian. Then I'm like, oh, I'm just going to think that the box is right there. Now, wait a second. Did I do the right one? Now the box is right here. All right. So the Lydian is also a major shape. So what's different if it was a Lydian than the Mixolydian that I was just on? Well, the Lydian is it's a major shape, so it still has a major third away, which is up here. So that's still correct. Whoop. Let's put, this should be on the root. Major third is up here, and it's still going to have, the 5th will be the same. And it's going to have, but it has a different 5th modal half step or 6th scale degree than the Mixolydian, and the Mixolydian also has a minor 7, whereas the Lydian does not. So those are going to be the differences. So with just the 3 nodes that we've looked at, the root is now nodal point 4. The 3rd is same relative position, but Now we're going 4 to 6. So the 6, nodal point 6, Aeolian, is always the first modal half step, second modal half step, first modal whole step, second modal half step, third scale degree of nodal point 4, Lydian. And nodal point 1, Ionian, is always going to be the, well, let's count that one out, like, because that's the one I'm on right now. So let's say we're going to try to find the fifth from nodal point 4. So we're going to say 5 minus 1 is 4. So if I'm on nodal point 4, it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So there it is, Ionian. We're going to say it's right above it. So that means that the Ionian node, nodal point number 1, is always 2 modal whole steps times 2, 4 modal half steps plus 1 fifth scale degree from the Lydian. And the total note distance for the second modal whole step, fourth modal half step, fifth scale degree is always 7 notes clockwise from every node except for the Locrian node. But we're going counterclockwise because we're going above it, down in pitch. So that means it'd be 12 minus 7 counterclockwise, which is 5. There are 5 notes between the strings, therefore -5 or counterclockwise 5 to get to that Ionian, which means positive, equivalent to positive 7 or clockwise 7. So there it is. Same shape as we saw for the Mixolyd, because the 3rd and the 5 are the same for both the Mixolydian and the Lydian. But the numbers are different, and you can see the shape is different. The box is here. All right. Well, what if I make it nodal point number 5 now? Or I was already. Wait, did I go? I went from nodal point 5 down to 4. Is that what I did? Why did I do that? I was gonna go up, wasn't I? Well, let's say we go down to 3. Let's say we bring it down to 3. We're gonna go down to 3. What's gonna happen? Well, that means this whole thing is gonna shift to the right, right? It's gonna shift to the right. So that means this is gonna be now, the box is gonna be here. Now, if the box is on the second and third strings and we lean forward, then we're going to have a shape number 5 again. Backwards would be shape number 4. Now, if I want that nodal point to be a 3, how can I do that? Well, I could say I need to find the related major, right? So one way to do it is, well, where's the 3 right here? It's right there, and in relative position to it has the major diagonal above it right there. So I could say, well, if I want to make this the 3, then the relative major is going to be a diagonal above it up here, right? It's going to be up here to get to the Ionian, and then figure out, okay, what collection of notes is that? And that's going to be like a D sharp or something, or a E flat, however you want to name it. But from a number system, it's going to be a 7, note number 7, right? But I could say, well, if I want this, the other way I can count it out, I could say, well, look, if I want the G to be nodal point number 3, then how do I get to the Ionian? Well, I could go forward, like go clockwise or counterclockwise, right? I could say, well, if I'm on nodal point 4, it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it's going to be, wait a sec, if I'm on nodal point 4 and I want to go backwards to the 3, I could say it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 6 modal steps clockwise, but I want to go counterclockwise, so it could just be 1 step backwards. My head is going now. I feel like I messed something up last time. I don't know, but let me just. It's gonna be this. It's gonna be shifted up 1, so the relative position would be here. So that's gonna be a D sharp. Would be my Ionian. So my collection of notes I'm gonna name based on the 12 collections from the perspective of the major Ionian, and that would be a D sharp. If D is 6, I'm looking for note number 7. If I just name the 12 notes, A starting at 1, then D sharp would be 7. So I'm going to say, all right, let's make this 7. Collection of notes 7. Boom. Okay, and that should give me D, for the Ionian node, should be D, E, meaning D sharp, E flat. Okay, so is that what happens here? Okay, boom, there we have it. So now I'm focusing in on this point. So now I'm here. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm on nodal point 3. Now nodal point 3 is a minor mode. That's the Phrygian. So this is where I was, where I had a major third up here. Notice it doesn't fit in the shape anymore. Why doesn't it fit in the shape? Because I'm measuring from a minor node. That means that the third is going to be pushed back here. The fifth is still the same because the fifth is the same from all measurements. It's 7 notes away from a clockwise perspective, except for when I get to the my head is going when I get to the Locrian, it won't be that way. Okay. Whew. Okay, so now we're here. So we're gonna say nodal point. Now we're on Phrygian. So if this is the Phrygian, then the box is above it. So this is the Phrygian G. The box is above it. But now I'm in the basement. So I get that minor second. So what's the difference between the Phrygian and what I was on, the Lydian? Well, there's a lot of differences because this is a major and minor node. The main one is the third is now 3 notes away instead of 4 notes away, so it gets flattened. And then the 7 is also flattened because the Lydian, unlike the Mixolydian, has a 11 note away major 7. So now we have a minor 7 away from it. We're also going to have a minor 6th, and but just looking at these 3 notes, we have only a difference in the third, and the fifth is basically the same. So let's count up the fifth. That's the one we're on right now. So if I'm looking for the fifth, 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 modal half steps up from the Phrygian. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So nodal point number 7 right above it. So that means nodal point number 7, Locrian, is always the second modal whole step times 2 fourth modal half step plus 1 fifth scale degree from nodal point number 3, the Phrygian, which has a distance clockwise 7 notes away, but we're going counterclockwise, so 12 minus 7 would be 5 notes, -5 between the strings. So there we have it. So if I was to subtly switch from that major Lydian, and I want to make now this G a Phrygian, I'm thinking, oh, the box is right here now. Now I'm going to make the box, the minor seconds right in front of it. Still fifth above it. Minor third is now reach forward minor third. Upper quadrant is here now instead of out here. So if I was playing in, like, if I was making this node Mixolydian, I'd be having the third out here. Right, the third's out here, and the 7 would be a minor 7. I still have that minor 7 over here, but the third is back here. So then I switch. So if I'm playing Mixolydian, and then I switch to same G, but now I want to make it Phrygian, I might try to subtly throw in that minor second, and then that minor third. Okay, I don't know. Let's say we make it the Dorian. So I'm gonna make it the Dorian now. Well, the Dorian is right there. So what happens if I'm on that G, but now I want to make it the Dorian mode? Well, the Dorian is not in the box. The Dorian is to the left of the box, if you want to think about the box being in front of it, or the Dorian is on the ground floor in front of. I'm sorry, the Dorian is on the ground floor behind the box, or it's on the top floor in front of the box. So if I make this node the Dorian, now that like this whole thing, this you can think of this shifting up. Now this is the 2, right? That means where's the box going to be? The box is going to shift up to here. So now I have the box out. If the box is out here on strings 2 and 3 from the ceiling, and I'm leaning forward into that shape, that will be, once again, this time shape number 4, right? And if the box is, right, so that's going to be, or you can think about it this way. This 2 is shifting down and to the right. If this shifts down to the right, this box, you can see, this whole shape would shift down to the right. That box would be right there. And then this box, right? So that's going to be the idea. So then the question is, well, if I want to make that a 2 Dorian, then I have to figure out what the Ionian is. Well, I could say, okay, well, where's the Ion? If I looked at this 2, the Ionian is 2 steps back from it. So if I make this the 2, then the Dorian is going to be 2 steps back or 2 half steps back. Meaning, like, if this was the 2, I mean if this was the Dorian, then behind it would be the Ionian, right? If this was the Dorian, the Ionian would be right here. So then it's like, okay, what is that? That's an F, right? I can figure out by going to the top string up here. So I'm thinking I'm going to have the collection of notes that's going to be an F. You can also say, well, if this is the Dorian, what's the quickest way to get back to the Ionian? I can either go clockwise or counterclockwise in modal half steps, right? So it'd be easier to go counterclockwise, because if I'm on the 2, it would be 1 modal half step back to the Ionian. So the Dorian back to the Ionian is going to be 1 modal half step back, which you might know is a whole step back from the formula whole half, right? Or you might just so I'm going a whole step back, right? Which would be 2 notes back. Okay, but in any case, so then the question is, it's an F. So what note number is an F? An F, if you count A as 1, and I think it's useful to just name the notes with numbers. Again, I know that all these numbers annoy people, but I mean, like, if you numbered the notes, everything, the whole spreadsheet works if you just put the numbers instead of the letters in there and stop giving 2 names for everything, because then you could say, well, if you just counted it up, it would be a 9, right? A 9. So we're going to say F is 9. It's not a sharp, it's not a flat, it's not sometimes this and then name, no, it's a 9. It's a 9. Okay, so now I'm on F major collection of notes, and so that means, there it is. So now we made this the Dorian. So now the G is the Dorian. Okay, so that means where's the box related to the Dorian? Well, the Dorian doesn't live in the Ionian's house. Dorian's like, I'm out of here. I'm doing my own thing. I'm not going to. What do you do to the minor modes that are in your house? They're in the basement, in the back, in the basement. So no, I'm hanging over here with Aeolian in our own duplex, and over here it's with the Mixolydian. So that means that the house is going to be in front of it. So now we have the box is over here. The Ionian's box house is going to be, if it's in front of it on the strings that are the 2nd and 3rd from the ceiling, then that's going to be shape number 4. And that means that behind it, we must have shape number 3 back here, which means the box is behind it here. So now the box is in the middle on the 3rd and 4th strings down from the ceiling, leaning forward. So you might call this, I call it shape number 3. You might call it a Dorian shape from the top node in it, or you might call it an Ionian D shape. And this shape right here is going to be then shape number 4, which you might call an Ionian C shape, or you might call a Phrygian shape from the top node in it. So that means whenever the Dorian is the 3rd string down from the ceiling, the shape that you're in is the middle intersection between shape 4 and shape 5, right? So that's the idea. And then, so then what's going to be, then the third is so if I'm in the Dorian mode, it's still a minor mode. Therefore, the third is still relative position up here, different numbers, but now we're going Dorian to Lydian. Lydian is always the first modal whole step, second modal half step, third scale degree. And then we have the Ionian or the Aeolian, which is always going to be the fifth. Once again, the fifth has the same relative position because the fifth is the same for all nodes except for the Locrian. Whew. All right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to continue on this tomorrow. I'm a little tired.